Haribol, can you hear me?
Yeah, Haribol, I can hear you.
Okay, we'll just go ahead.
We'll wait for 5 minutes now. Nobody is there other than me.
All right. Okay.
I told Ojasvi to send out a message on WhatsApp yesterday to the entire group saying that now Vidvan Prabhu has got the connection. So the classes will be regular. Please attend it. I don't know. I'll just check with him.
Okay. I think he's typing something. I think we should start now. Okay, let me just begin. Here is Vaiṣṇava ninda. Vaiṣṇava ninda. Section 13. Section 13. Okay. Let's review a minute. Okay, let's resume with this. Section 13, translation. There is another item to be noted in this regard. There's no need for Diksha and so on in order to become pure Vaishnava. The acceptance of mantras useful for the worship of Lord Hare in a deity form, in order to become one who is almost the Vaishnava, is known as Diksha. But technically, Diksha refers to what within his convey referred to as second initiation. Diksha actually has two meanings. One meaning of Diksha is a promise. Another meaning of Diksha is the feat of Pancharatrika mantras with which one can engage in deity worship. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is using this meaning of Diksha. Actually, in Gaudiya Vaishnava line, it is very common to refer to what within his convey referred to as second initiation, as Diksha. Till date, in the Gaudiya Matha, Diksha refers to second initiation. The first initiation is what they refer to as accepting the holy name or receiving the holy name. Nāmāśraya-bhakti, having received the holy name. Okay, this Diksha is what is referred to within ISKCON as Gayatri Diksha. This is not the Harinam Diksha introduced by Srila Prabhupada within ISKCON. That Diksha is unnecessary to attain realization of the truth of the holy name. So, second initiation is unnecessary to attain realization of the truth of the holy name. Gayatri Diksha is not necessary in order to attain pure chanting of Lord Krishna's holy name. The Lord's statements in this regard are as follows. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "He from whose mouth I hear the holy name of Lord Krishna once is worshipable and the best of all human beings. One holy name of Krishna can destroy all sinful reactions. The 9 processes of devotional service are complete simply by chanting the holy name. It delivers everyone, even the lowest of men, by touching their tongues. As a simultaneous result, it annihilates one's entanglement in the material world, attracts one's thoughts, and causes transcendental love of Krishna to be aroused. Therefore, he in whose mouth one holy name of Krishna has appeared is a Vaishnava. I offer him great respect." Section 14, translation. This is not the place to analyze the difference between the holy name and the reflection of the holy name. I will analyze that subject in detail at some other time. In Sri Harina, we saw a little bit of this discussion. In this regard, I can say this much, that when the holy name of Krishna is uttered with faith in the scriptures, that is pure surrender unto Krishna's lotus feet. It is the holy name that is being uttered. So in other words, when I chant the syllables of the holy name while being purely surrendered unto Krishna's lotus feet, then I am said to be chanting the holy name. That holy name, which is connected with the pursuit of extraneous desire or covered by jnana, karma, yoga, vairagya, and so on, is a reflection of the holy name. On the other hand, when I utter the syllables of the holy name, while I am not purely surrendered unto Krishna's lotus feet, in other words, I am pursuing sinful desires, adharma, or impersonal human realization, jnana, or arranging for material happiness in my next life through engagement in pious activities, karma, or the process of Ashtanga Yoga, etc., etc. There are so many Vedic processes which help us come to the mode of goodness. Let us put it like that. Okay. Now, if I am chanting the holy name and I'm engaged in activities outside of pure surrender unto Krishna's lotus feet, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur refers to that holy name as actually the reflection of the holy name. It is not the real holy name. You have the real holy name and you have the reflected holy name. Nama and Nāmābhava. Let me just use the English expressions, it's more clear. The pure holy name or the reflection of the holy name. Or to make it even more simple, the holy name and the reflection of the holy name. So you have the Hare Krishna mantra and you have the reflection of the Hare Krishna mantra. Though one can attain results up to liberation by uttering the reflection of the holy name, the reflection of the holy name is not uttered in the mouth of a Vaiṣṇava. It is the pure holy name that is uttered by him. In other words, there is a Vaiṣṇava, there is a better Vaiṣṇava, and there is the best Vaiṣṇava. We already saw this. So, what exactly does the Vaiṣṇava utter? The Vaiṣṇava, we're not even talking about a better Vaiṣṇava or best Vaiṣṇava. Or, we're talking about a Vaiṣṇava, that's all. But even such a person, he utters the pure holy name. Only that holy name which is uttered with the direct experience of the knowledge of the constitutional nature of the holy name, the awareness of the non-difference of the holy name and the holy named, and the appearance of the holy name of the spiritual senses of the soul is the holy name. He on whose tongue one such holy name has appeared is a Vaishnava. In other words, he's chanting, chanting, chanting. But once he has uttered the holy name with full surrender unto Krishna's lotus feet, so at that time, that chanting is pure. Of course, this is only at that time, because after that he may fall into impure chanting. Impure chanting means chanting the holy names while one is not purely surrendered unto Krishna's lotus feet. So such a person is accepted as a Vaishnava. Then you have a better Vaishnava and best Vaishnava. Why the holy name arises? All of one's prarabdha and aprarabdha sinful reactions are destroyed. As soon as it arises fully, love of Godhead awakens. Section 15, translation. A Vaishnava, meaning, so we are talking of a good Vaishnava, a better Vaishnava, best Vaishnava. Here we are talking only of a Vaishnava, which means a good Vaishnava. That's all. This is actually from another perspective, it's actually a third class Vaishnava. Then a better Vaishnava is a second class Vaishnava. And then you have the best Vaishnava, that is a first class Vaishnava. So here Vaishnava refers to third class Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is naturally endowed with all auspicious qualities and free from all defects. So this is a third class Vaishnava. As stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, all great transcendental qualities are present in the bodies of Vaishnavas. All of Lord Krishna's qualities appear in the bodies of Lord, in the devotees of Lord Krishna. Giving up all the regulative principles of the Varna and Ashrama institution, he worships the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. His mind is never attracted to forbidden and sinful activities. So even a third class Vaishnava, his mind is never attracted to forbidden and sinful activities. Even if out of ignorance there are sinful activities present in him, Lord Krishna purifies that devotee and does not cause him to perform atonement, non-violence, scriptural restrictions, and so on, roam in the association of a devotee of Lord Krishna. Rejection of the association of unsaintly persons is the characteristic behavior of a Vaishnava. So this is all. Even a third class Vaishnava rejects unsaintly persons, the association of unsaintly persons. One who associates with women for sense gratification is an unsaintly person. One who is not a devotee of Lord Krishna is another unsaintly person. Section 16, translation. The living entity has no more taste for sinful activities from the day a single holy name of Krishna appears on his tongue. What to speak of a taste for sinful activities? He has no more taste for pious activities too. Good Vaishnavas, better Vaishnavas, and best Vaishnavas are all free from material contamination, spotless and sinless. If a person is seen to value sinful activities, he cannot be counted as a Vaishnava. He cannot be counted as a good Vaishnava or a better Vaishnava or a best Vaishnava. Even a Kanishta Vaishnava has no taste for sinful or pious activities. In other words, it is one thing to engage in a sinful activity. It's another thing to desire that. But even a third class devotee does not even desire a sinful activity. He does not desire, he does not wish, oh, I wish I can engage in that activity. That wish, that thought does not occur in his mind. So even a Kanishta Vaishnava, a third class Vaishnava, is actually a very exalted person. Very, very exalted person. Then imagine how great a second class Vaishnava is, and the first class Vaishnava is beyond estimation. This is reality. Even a third class devotee is that. Therefore, we should aspire to become at least third class Vaishnava. And then become accomplished on that platform, be situated on that platform, then move forward to the position of a second class Vaishnava, and then move forward to the position of a first class Vaishnava. There is no defect in one who has become a pure Vaishnava. Therefore, there is no criticism of him too. He who criticizes him is falsely accusing a Vaishnava. Section 17, translation. Evil people can hatefully discuss three kinds of topics regarding a Vaishnava. So here Vaishnava refers to good Vaishnavas, better Vaishnavas, best Vaishnavas, all of them. one kind of subject that can be discussed by evil people pertains to the defects of a person before pure devotional service awoke in him. So it is understood that even a third class Vaishnava is at least occasionally engaged in pure devotional service, and he wants to come to the point of uninterrupted engagement in pure devotional service. In other words, it's like this. You have Uttama, Manchama, Kanishta. The Kanishta is engaged in sadhana bhakti. The Madhyama is in bhava bhakti. And the Uttama is in prema bhakti. So this sadhaka, his engagement in pure devotion service to Krishna is interrupted. The interruptions are decreasing as he is progressing. The interruptions are increasing when he regresses, but the interruptions decrease when he progresses. So before he came to the point of the awakening of pure devotional service, even on an interrupted basis, he may have several defects. So they can be topics for discussion. As soon as pure devotional service awakens in him, all defects become quickly destroyed. Evil people discuss his defects remaining during the short time those defects take to become fully destroyed. This is also discussed by Vaiṣṇava Chakravarti Thakur. Let us say I'm sick, but I'm under proper medical treatment. So then as I continue my treatment, my sickness will disappear. The symptoms of my illness will disappear. So it is something like that. These are all perishing defects. These are all perishing defects. These are defects which are disappearing. They're on the way out. The third subject for discussion by evil people is this. Though a spotlessly pure Vaishnava does not hanker for a defect, sometimes by providence, some forbidden activity by him takes place. That defect never stays permanently in that Vaishnava. Still, evil people discuss about that defect and fall into the defect of criticizing a Vaishnava. Therefore, the following verses are seen in Nāmāśraya-bhakti. One should never ever discuss the defect in pure devotees before the awakening of pure devotional service in them, a defect that is being diminished until destruction, and a defect that has come about by providence, that means unintentionally. He who discusses these defects without a good purpose to do so, and a false accusation. So he who discusses a false accusation about pure devotees is a most fallen blasphemer of the saints. Section 18, translation. O readers, please do not ever discuss the defects that were in Vaishnavas prior to the awakening of pure devotional service in them without a good purpose to do so. Section 19, translation. Please do not criticize a Vaishnava by considering his defects that are being diminished towards destruction, defects that were of his past before he took to pure devotional service to Krishna. Because Sri Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, even if an exclusive devotee of mine exhibits very abominable behavior and serves me, he should be considered a pure saint because he is properly determined to engage in pure devotional service to me. He quickly becomes a righteous soul and attains everlasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare boldly that my devotee never perished. Now, Vaiṣṇava Chakravarti Thakur has elaborately commented on this. Let me just take it down 1 minute. स्वभक्तेषु आसक्तिर्मम स्वाभाविकेव भवति तादराचारेऽपि भक्तेन अपयाति तम् अपि उत्कृष्टमेव करोमि इत्याह अपि चेदिति. Lord Krishna has this thought in his mind. The attachment my devotees have for me is certainly natural. No, sorry. The attachment that I have for my devotees is certainly natural. Even if that devotee happens to be engaged in some abominable activity, my attachment for him does not go away. Rather, I make him exalted. So with all these thoughts, Lord Krishna speaks these verses, Abhishek Sudaracharya, which Bhaktivinoda Thakur has referred to here. Sudurachara, Parahimsa, Paradara, Paradravyadi, Grahana Parayane, Pi, Mam Bhajate Che. So even if a person who's engaged in very abominable activities, engaging in activities which bring about violence towards others, being in a relationship with somebody else's wife, stealing someone else's property, and so on. If he is engaged in my devotional service. So Lord Krishna is talking about this kind of person. But what kind of devotional service? Because there are all kinds of combinations of activities that you can mix with devotional service. A person may be doing all kinds of things along with devotional service. So it's important to know what kind of devotional service he is engaged in. With that in mind, Lord Krishna, he says, Yataha Ananya Bhak. He utters the word Ananya Bhak without deviation. So if a person engages in devotional service to Lord Krishna without deviation. Now what does without deviation mean? Mattaha Anya Devatantaram Mad Bhaktehe Anya Karma Jnanadikam Mad Kamanataha Anyam Rajyadik Kamanam Na Bhajate Sasadu. He does not take shelter of anyone other than Krishna. No other demigod, etc. He does not engage in any activity other than devotional service unto Krishna. We know that there is adharma, there is karma, there is jnana, yoga, and bhakti. These are different. This is an exhaustive categorization of different activities that can be performed. So he does not engage in any activity other than bhakti. He does not consciously, intentionally engage in any activity other than the activities of Bhagavad Bhakti. Does not engage in yoga activities, does not engage in jnana activities, does not engage in karma activities, does not engage in adharma activities. He does not desire anything other than Krishna. He only desires to please Krishna. He does not desire a kingdom, he does not desire women, he does not desire money, he does not desire anything other than the sadhu. That person is a saint. So if a person does not have any desire other than to please Krishna, does not surrender to anyone other than Lord Krishna, does not desire anything other than to please Lord Krishna, even if he has engaged in these very abominable activities, he is a saint. Nanu etadrishe kadachare drishte sati katham sadhatvam. But we are seeing if these abominable activities are seen in him, where is the question of him being a sadhu? Satraha, with that in mind, anticipating this question, Lord Krishna says, Mantavya. The sadhureva mantavya. He must be considered. He must be considered. Mananiya. Mantavya means mananiya. He must be considered means he must be honored as a sadhu. Sadhutvenaiva sagyeya iti yavat. Specifically, it means he should be understood to be only a sadhu. He should be understood to be a saint only. Mantavyam iti vidhivakyam. Anyatha prativayasya. This expression, mantavya, that one must honor him. That is an injunction here. In other words, if one does not carry out that injunction, then the person who does not carry out that injunction of honoring him as a saint, he will experience certain adverse consequences. Atramad agyayo pramanam iti bhava. The implication is, I am giving this order that he should be honored as a saint and only as a saint. He's a saint and nothing but a saint. He should be honored as such. This is my order. My order itself is the evidence that he is a saint. No, objection. Svam bhajate ityetadamshena sadhu paraddaradi grahanamshena asadhuschasta mantavyaspatraha eveti. He is worshipping, he is engaged in your service. So in that aspect, he is a saint. But he is having a relationship with someone else's wife, he's stealing the property of someone else and so on. In this aspect, he is unsaintly. So should he not be considered to be saintly in that, in one aspect and unsaintly in another aspect? Anticipating this, Lord Krishna, he uses the words eva. The sadhu eva samantavya. Sadhu eva samantavya. Eva means only. Sarvenapyamshena sadhu eva mantavya. He should be considered a sadhu and he should be considered only a sadhu. He should not be considered to be anything other than that. That is the idea. 1 minute. Where did it go? Kadapi tasya asadhatvam na drashtavyam iti bhava. The implication is he should not be considered to be anything other than a saint. He should be accepted as a saint and nothing else but a saint. He's a saint and he's only a saint. One should not view him as something else. Samyak vyavasitam nishchayo yasya sa. Another characteristic of that person. His determination or he has come to the right conclusion. He has come to the right determination. What is that determination? What is that thought process that he has because of which Lord Krishna is considering this person to be a sadhu? Dustya jena swapapena narakam tiryag yonirva yami aikantikam Shri Krishna bhajanam tu naiva jihasami iti sa shobhanam adhyavasayam kritavan ityarthaha. He has come to a very nice conclusion. I have engaged in sinful activity because of which I have received certain sinful reactions. I am unable to give up this sinful activity. I may go to hell, I will go to hell, or I may attain a birth in a lower species. But I will never ever give up exclusive service to Sri Krishna. Exclusive service. Exclusive service means he is engaged, he wants to engage in devotion service unto Krishna's lotus feet and he does not want to do anything else. He is like within ISKCON, the only way I can explain what is exclusive devotion service is by saying he's like a sannyasi. Just as we expect sannyasis to engage only in Krishna's service. Or like a Naishtika brahmachari is expected to only engage in devotion service. No other responsibility. Nothing else to do. That's all. So this person that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is talking about is a Vaiṣṇava of this type. So he first of all accepts that he has engaged in some forbidden activity and he accepts that he is going to go to hell or he'll attain an animal body. He does not try to justify himself. He does not say that, well, it's fine, I'm okay, it's all right. He doesn't think like that. He does not think like that. This will become clear in Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary to the next verse. Nanu tadrishasya adharminaha katham bhajanam tvam grishnasi. Lord Krishna now anticipates another objection. that person is engaged in adharma. How is it that you are accepting his service? Kama krodhadi dushitantah karanena niveditam annapanadikam katham ashnasi. He is offering you food, drinks, and so on, but his mind is polluted with lust, anger, and so on. How is it that you eat his food? Ataha, anticipating this, ityataha, anticipating all this, Lord Krishna speaks. Shipram, Shigram eva su dharmatma bhavati. This is the second one. Shipram bhavati dharmatma. He quickly becomes a righteous soul. Shipram, Shigram eva. He quickly becomes a dharmatma, a dharmic soul. Atra, Shipram bhavi sa dharmatma, shashvat shantim gamishyati iti aprayujya. Bhavati, gacchati iti vartamana prayoga. Adharma karanantarameva mam anusmritya. Sutarataha, Shiprameva dharmatma bhavati. In this verse, Lord Krishna has said, Shipram bhavati sa dharmatma. He quickly becomes righteous. He does not say he will quickly become righteous in the future. He does not say that. He says he quickly becomes righteous, present tense. Does not use future tense. Shashvat shantim gamishyati. He does not say that. He says Shashvat shantim. Look at this. Nigacchati. And he attains everlasting peace. Prabhupada's translation. He attains everlasting peace. He does not say he will attain everlasting peace in the future. Present tense. So from this we understand, adharma karanantarameva. As soon as he engages in an activity of adharma, immediately after that, mam anusmritya, he continually recollects, continually remembers me, dasaratapa, and he repents. Shiprameva dharmatma bhavati. So in this way, he quickly becomes a dharmic soul because he immediately repents. He immediately repents and he immediately gives up that adharmic act. It's over. Not that it is dragging on for days, weeks, months, and years. He's still having that weakness. Not like that. It's over. That's it. It's over. It's over. It's over. That's all. Finish. Finish. Here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains further what is this repentance. Hanta hanta mattulyah kopi bhaktalokam kalankayam nadhamo asti. Alas, alas, there is no one equal to me who has contaminated the community of the Lord's devotees. No one has fallen as me. That thing, mom. So, spy upon me. Old English, but there's no other translation for this expression. It means that I am so wretched. Iti shashvat. Punah punarapi shantim nirvedam nitaram gacchati. So he fully attains peace. That means he attains detachment because he repeatedly repents in this manner. Notice that he doesn't think that everything is fine, nor does he get his admirers to try to justify his activities or just nothing. That's it. I was wrong, and I was definitely wrong. And because of me, the Vaiṣṇava community is getting a bad reputation. I'm the most fallen amongst the Vaishnavas. This conception he has continuously. It is not just running for a few days, few weeks, few months. It's continuous. If you examine the history of Ajamila, after the Yamadutas and Vishnudutas disappear, when Ajamila goes to Haridwan, he's continually repenting. He is in a state of continual repentance until the Vishnudutas come to pick him up and take him. Until then, he is engaged in Bhakti Yoga exclusively, but he is also having this thing. If you examine the history of Jagai Madhai, they also, Lord Nityananda Prabhu instructed that they should build one ghat, that is the Madhai Ghat. In Mayapur, we have that. And instructed them, he said that will be a Vaishnava Seva for them. And he instructed that they should chant 128 rounds. They never accepted any leadership roles till for the rest of their lives. They were always repenting. And in fact, Madhai, he became so pure that eventually the community started to call him Madhai Brahmachari. So from rapist to Brahmachari. This is uninterrupted Brahmacharya. Just fixed. Fixed means fixed. That's it. Nothing else but this. So one attains complete detachment, complete renunciation. Alternate explanation. Yadva. Kiyata samayad anantaram tasya bhavi dharmatmatvam. After how much time will he become a dharmatma? Tadanim sukshma rupena vartate. Even at that very time, while he is repenting, his dharmic nature is present subtly within him. Evam tan manasi bhakte pravesha, because pure bhakti has entered into his mind. Yathapite mahoshadi sati. Tadanim kiyat kala paryantam nashyad davastho jvaradaho vishadaho va vartamanopi na ganyate iti dhvani. So the hint is, just as when a person is sick, but he drinks a great competent medicine, then for a short while, the perishing symptoms of fever and similar afflictions, they may continue to exist. But the learned doctor will not consider it, because he knows that these symptoms are perishing. Tatasya tasya bhaktasya duracharatva gamakaha kama krodhadya utkhata damshto ragadamshavat akinchit karayeva gyaya iti anudhvani. And there is a further hint here that bhakta, he has exhibited certain symptoms of abominable behavior. These symptoms are lust, anger, and so on. But just as the biting of a snake whose fangs have been removed is useless, so like this, the presence of lust, anger, greed, when they are perishing, they're all going away. When they are perishing, they are not considered significant at all. Ateva shashvat sarvadaiva shantim kama krodhat upashamam nitaram gacchati atishayena prapnoti iti duracharatva dashayam api sa shuddhantahkaraneva uchyati iti bhava. So the implication is, because he is going to attain complete peace, everlasting peace, complete peace, which means he is going to attain complete freedom from lust, anger, and so on. Absolutely, abundantly, because he is getting it. It's just happening. Instantly. It's so instant that Krishna uses the present tense. He quickly becomes righteous. He doesn't even say future tense. Therefore, even in the state when he has somehow engaged in an abominable activity, his mind is said to be pure. So, the understanding that we derive is, he currently is pure in mind, but very rapidly, we are not even talking of one day. Elsewhere, Vishwanath Chakravarti has also remarked on this Apichet Sudarachara verse, in other places in his writings also. And from that we understand that he's not even talking about days, not even talking about several days. That is all too slow. If the person is really pure and he has accidentally engaged in some sinful activity, then he is a subject matter of Bhagavad Gita 9.30. No other practicing devotee is meant to be considered the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita 9.30. Only this kind of a devotee. So his mind has already become dharmic. But what about externally? Externally also he becomes dharmic. Externally also he becomes dharmic. Nanu yadi sa dharmatma syat tada nastiko vivavad. Further objection. If this person would become a dharmic soul, then there is no dispute. Kintu kaschit durachara bhakta marana paryantam duracharatvam na jahati. But there is a devotee of yours who is engaged in abominable activity. Until he dies, he does not give up his abominable activity. Now the topic is shifting to a discussion about another type of devotee who is engaged in durachara, abominable activities. This is not the devotee who was discussed in 9.30 and the first half of 9.31. This is another type of person, a person who does not become a dharmatma immediately. That person who is a devotee of Krishna and is engaged in abominable activities and he is taking longer, maybe even in this whole life, occasionally he keeps on falling down. Tasya ka varta, what do you have to say about him? Ityaso, bhaktavatsalo bhagavan, sat prabhuhi, sakopamivaha kante. Then the Lord, who is affectionate to all of his devotees, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as if in a state of pride and anger, he speaks, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Mama bhakta na pranashyati. My devotee never perishes. Tadapi prananashe adhapatam nayati. Even then, meaning, even if until he dies, he repeatedly falls back into abominable activities, when he dies, adhapatam nayati, he does not fall down. In other words, he does not sink into the animal species. We know from the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that those who engage in sinful activities, they go to hell and then they get animal bodies and then the animals go through a whole process. Then after thousands of lifetimes, they get a human body. This person does not experience that. He does not fall down. Mind you, Krishna is not saying that he goes back to Godhead and so on. He's not saying all that. He's simply saying, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is simply saying, this person does not fall down. That's all. That's all. Does not fall down. He does not go to hell. We learn in the 3rd canto also, Lord Kapila talks about a sinful person. He will go to hell and then he will attain animal species and then finally attains the human body after so many lifetimes. That is the standard procedure. So this person does not experience that. That is all that is being said here. It is not said that he goes back to God. Specifically, it is not said he attains the perfection of devotional service within one lifetime and all. These things are not at all mentioned. These things Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur does not say here, does not say elsewhere also. Utarka karkasha vadinaha naitanmanyeram iti shoka shanka vyakulam arjunam protsahayati. But then, when Arjuna heard all this, then he thinks there are people who are very harsh, argumentative characters who are used to pseudo logic. These people will not accept what you are saying here. So Arjuna, when he was overwhelmed by lamentation and the fear of Krishna, he encourages him, enthuses him. Hey Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, Pataha kahaladi mahaghosha purvakam. You take small drums and large drums and beat them, producing a tumultuous noise. Vivadamananam sabham gatva. You go to this assembly where these argumentative people are there. Bahumikshitya, lift your arms up. Nishankam pratijanihi, and you promise without any fear. Pratigyam kuru, you make a promise with no fear. Katham, what kind of promise? Then he quotes Srila Sridhar Swami. Me mama parmeshwarasya bhaktaha duracharopi na pranashyati. Na pranashyati. Apitu krasartha eva bhavati. Sridhar Swami notes that Lord Krishna intends to say this: I am the Supreme Lord, and even if my devotee is engaged in abominable activities, he does not perish. Rather, he becomes successful. He becomes successful. What does that mean? Let's go back to Sridhar Swami, and then things become a little bit clear. Where Sridhar Swami has also explained this verse. Sudaracharopi mam bhajan shighram dharmachitto bhavati. Even if a person is engaged in abominable activities, by engaged in devotion service to me, he quickly becomes dharmic in mind. Tatascha shashvat shantim chitta upaplava varama rupam parameshwara nishtham nitaram gacchati prapnoti. And then he attains everlasting peace. In other words, the disturbances that have been agitating his mind cease when one becomes fixed in devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. And that he attains fully. And then he says this, which is actually quoted by Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. Tatachate tam praudhi vijrambhita vidvamsita kutarkaha santaha nissamshayam twam eva gurutvena ashrayeran iti Swami Charana. So when you say this, like this, that even my abominable devotee does not perish, rather he attains that. Now, if he is engaged in pure devotional service, then instantly he becomes pure. Pure in every sense. Pure even from the perspective of the Dharma Shastras meant for Karma Kanda people. He becomes pure in every sense, morally pure, every way he becomes pure. Now, if he is not engaged in pure devotional service, exclusive devotional service, while accidentally engaging in this activity, then he may take a longer time, but certainly he will come to the point of purity because he desires it. Now, he may be weak, he may take several lifetimes, but he comes to that point. He does come to that point. We know, for instance, Jadadharata, he came to the point. In that way, everybody will come to the point if they desire, if they are internally sincere. So, Lord Krishna here points out, according to Srila Sridhar Swami, when you speak so forcefully and you have destroyed all their false arguments, then without any doubt, they will take shelter of you and accept you as their guru. Nanu katham Bhagavan swayam pratigyaya pratigyatam arjunameva ati ditesha. Why is it that the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself did not promise, and rather he delegated the promise to Arjuna? Yathaivaagre mame vaishyati satyam te pratijane priyosi me iti vakshyate. Later on, Lord Krishna will say that one who is engaged in manmanabho madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru, that person, one who carries out these injunctions fully, absolutely, he will come to me. I tell you the truth. I promise you, you're dear to me. Lord Krishna will tell you. Tathaivatrapi kaunteya pratijaneham name bhakta prashyati iti katham noktu. Then why didn't Lord Krishna say, O son of Kunti, I promise you, my devotee will never perish? Why he didn't say that? He has made a promise later on, 18th chapter. But why here he is not promising? Uchyate. An answer is given here. Bhagavata tadanimeva vicharitam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead deliberated at that time. Bhakta vatsalena maya swabhakta apakarshalesham apya sahishnona swa pratigyam khandayatva api swa apakarsham angikritya api bhakta pratigyaiva rakshata bahutra. I am a bhakta vatsala. I am fond of my devotee. I cannot tolerate even a slight disgrace that has been, I cannot even tolerate a small amount of infamy of my devotee, even at the risk of breaking my own promise. even by accepting disgrace, I have protected the promises of my devotees several times. Yatha Tatraiva, for instance, in that very situation, in Mahabharata, in the Kurukshetra war itself, Bhishma Yuddhe, at a time when there will be a battle between Arjuna and Bhishma, so pratigyamapi apakritya, Lord Krishna will give up his own promise. Bhishma pratigyaiva rakshishyate, the Lord will protect Bhishma's promise. Bahirmukha vadinaha vaitandika, those who are averse to Lord Krishna, they are simply fault finders. Mat pratigyam shrutva hasishyanti. When they hear about my promise, they will laugh. They will ridicule me. Arjuna pratigyatu pashana rekhe veti te pratiyanti. But they will have conviction in Arjuna's promise. Because Arjuna's promise is like the line etched on stone. Arjuna, whatever he promises, he will always fulfill. Arjuna has a history of always fulfilling every promise that he has made. Arjuna has never spoken untruth. No reason whatsoever. Ato Arjunameva pratigyam karayami. That's what the Lord considers. That I will make Arjuna promise. Then in the 18th chapter, what about the 18th chapter? Why in the 18th chapter, Lord Krishna, he made the promise? Because the Lord never makes a false promise to those who are his pure devotees. For in other circumstances, the Lord may break his promise. For instance, in Kurukshetra, he just made a general promise in front of all the non-devotees, everybody, that I will never take up weapons. But here in the 18th chapter, Lord Krishna is promising Arjuna. That is a different situation. So there, Lord Krishna always maintains his promise. Rupa Goswami also notes this. Laghu Bhagavatamrita, the Lord never breaks his promise. Atra etadrishi duracharasya ananya bhakti shravana. Here we come across evidence that even such an abominable person has been described as engaging in ananya bhakti. Apiche sudaracharu bhajate mam ananya bhak, without deviation, ananya. Ananya means exclusive. One who engages in devotion service to Krishna and only that. So we come across this. So here we come across a situation where such a that person is also said to be engaged in ananya bhakti favorably. Ananya bhakta adhidayaka vakyeshu sarvatra na vidyate anyatri putra yasakti vidharma shoka moha kama krodhadikam yatra iti ku pandita vyakhya na grahya iti. So from this reference here, it is understood that in all the statements that speak about ananya bhaktas, there is a pseudo-scholarly explanation that has been advanced by some, that the ananya bhakta is one with whom there is nothing else other than devotion service unto Lord Krishna. For instance, he does not have any attachment for other women, children, and so on. He does not have attachment for, he does not engage in vidharma. He does not lament. He's not in delusion. He does not have lust. He does not have anger. He does not have. Only these people are fit to engage in ananya bhakti. Now, there are even some Vaishnavas who say this. They say that you can come to the point of exclusive devotional service only after you're absolutely free from all these anarthas. Until then, you cannot do it. Until then, you must engage in your varna dharma, ashrama dharma if you're a man, or stri dharma if you're a woman, along with all your common duties. There are certain activities which are common for all men, women, varnas, ashramas, everyone. This is in reality, there are Vaishnavas in Vaishnava lines who actually say this. Until then, you cannot do it. Therefore, in places like in South India, when we are preaching and there are people who, there are even young men who give up everything and they join the temple in order to fully engage in devotional service to Krishna. And the parents immediately catch them, and specifically if they are from these kind of Vaishnava lines, they immediately catch them and they say, "Are you there? Are you there? Have you come to that level? When a woman enters the room, you don't feel like looking at her? You're not meant for this. You know who can do this? Who can take sannyas? Who can engage in this kind of exclusive devotional service? Is only after you're fully self-realized. Brahmabhuta prasannatma na shochadina kamshati samatsarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim lavate para. Only these people can engage in Ananya Bhakti. You cannot engage in Ananya Bhakti. You can only engage in regular Bhakti. So that is a very scholarly presentation. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says this is pseudo-scholarly, because right in 9.30 we find Lord Krishna talking about an Ananya Bhakta exhibiting temporary, circumstantial slips. It's only a slip and it's also temporary, keep in mind. It is not permanent. But that person has been accepted by Lord Krishna favorably as an Ananya Bhakt, as an Ananya Bhakta. Okay, so that is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's explanation. Let me just read out this much and then I'll close. Day by day, all those very abominable activities that were second nature to him and which had been continuing in him from a time before pure devotional service arose in him, diminished by the strength of pure devotional service and become fully destroyed within a very short span of time. If one discusses these defects without a good purpose in doing so, he commits the offense of criticizing a Vaishnava. So in other words, these defects, they cannot continue for days, weeks, months, years, decades, and so on. Over, instantly. Shipram bhavati dharma. Immediately he becomes pure. Instantly. And you can see, how repentful he is. Atapyamana hridaye vasitam. Lord Krishna manifests in the hearts of those who are genuinely repentant. Okay, I'll stop with this. Any questions? If there are no questions, then we'll close up. We'll meet next week. Interesting book, Vaiṣṇava Ninda. Okay, no questions. All right, so we'll stop with this. Vanṣākalpatarubhyasya kripasintuਭ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.